Hello mga kawawmat! In this video lesson, we will discuss about formulating appropriate, null, and alternative hypotheses and a population mean. So first, sagutan muna natin tong activity na to para ma-recall tayo sa mga concepts na gagamitin natin sa topic na to. Which of the given inequality expressions describes its situation? Number 1, the survey shows that the number of students who have parents with a house of their own is less than 20. Letter A, B, C, and D. So, choose the letter only. Number 2, mother gives me at most 200 pesos allowance in a week. Number 3, Larry is an industrious appliance salesman. His average sales in a week is at least 10,000 pesos. Okay, for number 1, ano yung sagot natin dyan? So, since yung word na less than, so letter A yung sagot. Okay? Number 2, at most 200 pesos. So, kapag at most, ano yung ginagamit nating symbol pag at most? Less than or equal. So, letter B. Number 3, at least 10,000 pesos. So, ano yung ginagamit nating symbol kapag at least? That is greater than or equal. So, letter D. Next, number 4, a son's savings is greater than 1,500 pesos. And number 5, Marco's salary is equal to 20,000 pesos. Okay, for number 4, greater than 1,500 pesos. So, anong letter yan? So, letter C. And number 5 is equal to 20,000 pesos. Okay, so yung equality and inequality symbol na yan, gagamitin natin mamaya to formulate the null and alternative hypothesis. So, tandaan yung mga symbol, ay yung mga phrases na ginagamit natin kung paano natin i-translate into symbol. So, a statistical hypothesis is a statement about a parameter and deals with evaluating the value of parameter. So, pag sinabi nating null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, so kapag null hypothesis, that is the initial claim. So kapag nagre-research tayo, as a researcher, ito yung unang claim natin dun sa research natin. And then, it shows no significant difference, no changes, nothing happened, no relationship between two parameters. And also, the independent variable has no effect on the dependent variable. So pag sinabi naman nating alternative hypothesis, it is the contrary or contradict dun sa null hypothesis. Opposite siya dun sa null hypothesis natin. It shows that there is significant difference and effect, change, relationship between a parameter and a specific value. The independent variable has an effect on the dependent variable. So yun ang pagkakaiba ng null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So lagi lang tatandaan na yung alternative hypothesis natin contradict siya or opposite siya lagi ni null hypothesis. And then, si null hypothesis, ito lagi yung initial claim natin. So, kapag nagre-research naman, yung laging tinetest is yung null. Okay? Yun lagi yung ginagamit, yung null hypothesis. So, to state the null and alternative hypothesis correctly, so first, identify the parameter in a given problem. So, yung topic before ito, di ba, diniscuss doon how to identify the parameter in a given situation or in a given problem. So, pwede natin balikan yon kung ano ba yung paano i-identify yung parameter sa given problem. Then, identify the claim to be tested that may show up in null or alternative hypothesis. And number 3, translate the claim into a mathematical symbol and notations. And last, formulate first the null hypothesis, then alternative hypothesis based on the 3 different ways in writing hypothesis as illustrated below. Sometimes, pwede yung unang claim natin is alternative hypothesis, lalo na kapag ang gagamitin is yung greater than and less than. So, yung unang claim natin, kapag ganun yung ginagamit na symbol class, alternative hypothesis yon. So, ito yung three ways o yung three different ways in writing hypothesis as nakikita nyo sa baba nito, no, nung apat na steps. So, kapag yung null hypothesis natin equals, so yung alternative hypothesis natin not equal. So, laging opposite doon. And then yung initial claim natin nandito sa null hypothesis, ito. Pero kapag ganito class, yung unang sa problem, makita nyo yung greater than or above. So, ibig sabihin, yung claim natin ay nasa alternative hypothesis. So, kapag ang problem natin nasa greater than and less than, yung claim natin, kapag yung claim ng problem ay greater than or less than, ibig sabihin, nasa alternative hypothesis yan. So, ang null hypothesis natin kapag greater than, less than, or equal. Kapag less than naman yung alternative hypothesis natin, greater than or equal naman sa null hypothesis. Okay, so ito yung mga common phrases na ginagamit and then yung mga symbol na gagamitin natin. So yung is equal to, the same as, exactly the same as, not change from. So ang gagamitin nating symbol kapag nasa problem yan is yung equal sign. And then, kapag not equal to, not the same, different from, has changed from, so ang gagamitin naman nating symbol ay yung not equal sign. And then, kapag increase, greater than, higher than, above, bigger than, longer than, more than, so yung symbol ng pang greater than. Next, so decrease, less than, lower than, below, smaller than, decrease or reduce from, is not more than. So, ang gagamitin nating symbol ay yung pang less than. And then, kapag at least, not less than, greater than or equal to, so ito yung symbol na gagamitin natin. And then, kapag at most, not more than, less than or equal to, so ito naman yung symbol na gagamitin natin. So, kailangan maging familiar kayo sa mga symbol na gagamitin para hindi tayo malito at tama yung matranslate natin na mamaya sa null and alternative hypothesis natin. So, tama yung symbol na gagamitin. Okay? So, start tayo. For example, number 1. So, you state the null and alternative hypothesis in notation and also in statement. Okay? So, after natin siya ma-state in statement, i-translate into symbols. So, first, the average height of senior high school students 16 years and older is 158 centimeters for males. Is this claim true? So, una natin gagawin, sabi kanina, di ba, may 4 steps, identify the parameter. So, ano yung parameter natin dito? Yung parameter natin sa number 1 is the average height of senior high school students. Okay? And then, yung claim natin dito, 158 centimeters. Okay? Yun yung claim natin. So, therefore, kapag translate natin into symbol yung parameter natin, since nandito yung, okay, nakita nyo yung word na is, so, ang gagamitin nating symbol or sign is yung equal sign. So, kapag translate natin, yung the average height of senior high school student is 158 centimeters, so equal sign yung gagamitin natin. And now, since yung claim natin ay equal sa 158 centimeters, so ibig sabihin, yung claim natin magfo-fall under the null hypothesis. So again, since yung claim natin dito equal to 158 centimeters, so ibig sabihin nun, since yung symbol na equal, magfo-fall yan under the null hypothesis. So, yan yung natin, yung unang claim natin, nasa null hypothesis. So, the average height of senior high school student is 158 centimeter. Kapag translate natin into symbol, so, kagaya lang din ito. Okay? So, population mean yung gagamitin nating symbol. Okay, since nakuha na natin yung null hypothesis natin, madali na lang kunin yung alternative. So, kunin lang natin yung opposite ng null hypothesis natin. Since equal yan, so sa alternative hypothesis natin, not equal yung gagamitin nating symbol. So, in statement, the average height of senior high school student is not. Okay? So, dapat yan dyan yung word na not kasi yung complement ng null hypothesis natin. Okay? So, in symbol, ang gagamitin nating symbol ay yung not equal sign. Okay? So, okay tayo sa number 1. Proceed tayo sa number 2. The average price per square meter of residential lot in an exclusive subdivision is above 15,000 pesos. A buyer wants to test the agent's claim. So, ano yung parameter natin sa example number 2? So, yung parameter natin dito, yung average price ng per square meter, no? Ito yung parameter natin. And then, yung claim natin dito is yung above 15,000 pesos. Since yung claim na above, magfo-fall yan, anong gagamitin nating symbol kapag yung ginamit na word is above? That is greater than. So, kapag translate natin yung parameter natin into symbols, ang gagamitin natin dito ay yung greater than. And then, yung greater than falls under alternative hypothesis. So, ibig sabihin, yung greater, itong symbol natin, class, no? Magfo-fall under alternative hypothesis to. So, ibig sabihin yung claim natin na sa alternative hypothesis. So, kapag since greater than yan, no? Since greater than, yung alternative hypothesis natin, ang magiging null hypothesis natin is less than or equal. Or, pwede rin class na yung null hypothesis natin ay ilagay nyo equals. Okay? So, again, so, inedit lang natin ito, class. So, dapat 15,000 to. Okay? So, again, since yung claim natin na sa alternative hypothesis, ang magiging symbol ng null hypothesis natin ay less than or equal. Or pwede rin na equal sign ang gamitin nyo. Okay. So, again, yung claim natin dito ay under alternative hypothesis. Next. The average waiting time of all customers in a restaurant before being served is less than 20 minutes. Determine the hypothesis and the directional test. So, naka-highlight na yung claim natin dito. Pero ano ba yung parameter natin? So, yung parameter natin dito is yung average waiting time. So, yun yung parameter natin. Na kapag translate natin into symbol, that is, since yung claim natin ay less than, so anong symbol yung gagamitin natin? So, yung symbol natin na gagamitin is ito. Okay? So, yung population mean natin is less than 20 minutes. So, saan magfo-fall itong natin? Yung parameter natin. Nasa null hypothesis ba or sa alternative hypothesis? Since less than, yung claim natin, so pag less than, under siya or magfo-fall siya under sa alternative hypothesis. So, ibig sabihin, kapag less than yung null hypothesis natin, ang magiging null hypothesis natin ay greater than or equal. Or pwede rin na may gumamit ng equal sign. Again, since less than yung claim natin, and then magfo-fall under alternative hypothesis yan, yun yung claim natin ngayon. So, kapag less than, dapat nasa alternative hypothesis. Baka ilagay nyo sa null hypothesis natin. So, again, yung less than, kapag nasa alternative hypothesis, yung symbol na gagamitin natin sa null hypothesis natin ay greater than or equal. Another example, an academic organization claimed that grade 11 students' study time is at most 240 minutes per day on average. Another survey was conducted to find whether the claim is true. The group took a random sample of 30 students and found at a mean study time of 300 minutes with standard deviation of 90 minutes. So, what will be the parameter in example number 4? So, the academic organization, so claim nila at most 240 minutes. So therefore, so yung parameter natin dito is yung clinic claim nila is yung at most 240 minutes. So yung at most, under siya ng alternative hypothesis. So ano ba yung symbol na gagamitin natin kapag at most? Yan ay less than. Okay, at most 240 minutes is under the null hypothesis. So, kasi yung symbol na gagamitin natin dyan kapag at most ay less than or equal. So, ibig sabihin, yung claim natin class nasa null hypothesis. So, yung gagamitin natin kapag kung less than or equal yung null hypothesis natin, yung sa alternative hypothesis natin greater than. Okay? So again, ulitin ko lang, kapag yung null hypothesis natin, ang ginamit natin ay less than or equal, ang gagamitin nyo sa alternative hypothesis ay greater than. Another example, the treasurer of municipality claims that the average net worth of families in the municipality is at least 730,000 pesos. A random sample of 50 families from this area produce a mean net worth at 860,000 with standard deviation of 65,000 pesos. So kitang-kita naman na yung claim dito is yung at least 730,000 pesos. And then yung at least class ay under saan? Sa null hypothesis. So ang gagamitin nating symbol kapag at least ay greater than or equal. So again, yung claim natin ay nasa null hypothesis. So kung greater than or equal, yung nasa null hypothesis, so ano ngayon yung sa alternative hypothesis natin? Less than. So less than yung gagamitin natin kapag ang ginamit natin sa null hypothesis is greater than or equal, yung alternative hypothesis natin ay less than. Okay, meron din tayong tinatawag na one-tailed and two-tailed test. So, paano natin masasabi na one-tailed ito at ito ay two-tailed test? So, binanggit ko kanina yung mga symbol na gagamitin natin to formulate null and alternative hypothesis. So, kapag one-tailed test class, kapag yung alternative hypothesis natin contains the greater than or less than symbols, ibig sabihin one-tailed test yan. It's either right-tailed siya or left-tailed. Kapag greater than, that is right-tailed test. And then kapag less than, that is a left-tailed test. Kung titingnan natin yan sa normal distribution curve natin, okay, yung greater than, kapag linap natin using the normal curve distribution, lagi yan sa right side ng graph. Kaya tinatawag rin siyang right-tailed test. Ganun din, yung less than. So, lagi siya sa left side ng graph. So, tinatawag rin siyang left-tailed test. Yung two-tailed test naman or non-directional, kapag yung alternative contains the inequality symbol. So, kapag not equal sign ang ginamit sa alternative hypothesis, yan ay halimbawa ng two-tailed test. Okay, so ito yung mga symbol na gagamitin natin. So, kapag two-tailed test, sa null hypothesis, equal. And then, kapag sa alternative hypothesis, not equal. Kapag right-tailed, okay, so kapag right-tailed test, sa null hypothesis, less than or equal, ang gagamitin, pero kapag sa alternative hypothesis, greater than. Okay? Next, pag left-tailed test, ang gagamitin natin is greater than or equal sa null hypothesis, pero kapag sa alternative hypothesis natin, less than. Okay, try natin yung example na to. We're going to determine the hypothesis and the hypothesis test. So number 1, teacher A wants to know if mathematical games affect the performance of the student in learning mathematics. A class of 45 students was used in the study. The mean score was 90 and the standard deviation was 3. A previous study revealed that the population mean or the average is 85 and the standard deviation is 5. So doon tayo sa previous claim. So ano yung previous claim? So that is 85. So yung average daw is 85. So paano natin kukunin yung hypothesis test? Una, identify natin yung parameter at yung symbol na ginamit sa problem. Since yung ginamit dito class is equal sign. Okay? So ibig sabihin, yung null hypothesis natin dyan, equal yung gagamitin natin. So yung parameter natin ay equal to 85. And then, since equal siya class, yung alternative hypothesis natin ay not equal. Okay, so not equal sign yung gagamitin natin. So sabi kanina, kapag yung alternative hypothesis natin not equal sign yung ginamit, it is an example of two-tailed test. Okay, so ganun lang kasimple, no? Madali tandaan kapag two-tailed test. Kapag yung alternative hypothesis natin nag-not equal, yan ay halimbawa ng two-tailed test. Next. A piggery owner believes that using organic feeds on his pigs will yield greater income. So his average income from this previous year was 120,000 pesos. State the hypothesis and identify the directional test. So, ano yung claim natin dito? So, yung claim natin ay greater than, so greater income, and that is 120,000. So, kapag greater, ibig sabihin, under siya sa alternative hypothesis natin. So, greater. So, anong symbol ang gagamitin natin kapag greater? That is greater than. Okay? So, ang ilalagay nyo sa alternative hypothesis natin ay yung greater than na symbol. So, kapag greater than, yung alternative hypothesis natin, so, ibig sabihin, ang null hypothesis natin, less than or equal. So, kapag greater than, ang alternative hypothesis natin, ito ay halimbawa ng one-tailed test. So, anong klaseng one-tailed test? Since greater than, yung symbol na ginamit natin. So, kapag greater than, yung alternative hypothesis, ito ay right-tailed test. Okay? Next. The average waiting time of all customers in a restaurant before being served is less than 20 minutes. Determine the hypothesis and the directional test. So, unang yung titingnan lagi class yung parameter at yung claim sa problem. So, yung claim sa problem ay yung less than 20 minutes. So, yung less than, under saan yan? Sa alternative hypothesis. So, kung less than yung alternative hypothesis natin, ano yung null hypothesis natin? So, yung null hypothesis natin is greater than or equal kasi less than yung alternative hypothesis natin. So, ibig sabihin, kapag less than, ang alternative hypothesis natin, ito ay halimbawa ng one-tailed test. So, anong klaseng one-tailed test? Since less than, yan ay left-tailed test. Okay? Test yourself. So, pwede nyo akong sabayan sumagot, no? This hypothesis states that there is no difference between population parameter and the hypothesized value. Letter A, hypothesis. B, null hypothesis. C, alternative hypothesis. And letter D, two-tailed hypothesis. Okay, anong sagot natin dyan? Number 2. When the value of parameter has significant difference with the hypothesized value, then it is called blank. A, one-tailed test. B, two-tailed test. C, null hypothesis. And D, alternative hypothesis. Number 3. The sign of alternative hypothesis in a left-tailed test is always blank. A, equal. B, less than. C, not equal. D, greater than. Okay, balikan natin yung number 1. Anong sagot natin sa number 1? That is null hypothesis. Kasi yung word na no difference between population parameter. Number 2, when the value of parameter has significant difference. So ano yan? Letter D, alternative hypothesis. And then number 3, ano daw yung sign na ginagamit natin sa alternative hypothesis kapag left tail test? Less than. Okay? Number 4, if the researcher wishes to test the claim that the mean of the population is 75, the appropriate null hypothesis is A, B, C, and D. So, number 5. So, number 4, anong sagot natin dyan? Null hypothesis, di ba? Since the parameter is, yung claim natin is 75. So, yung word na is, that is equal. So, therefore, letter D. And number 5, ano yung claim natin dito? The average birth weight of a population is 3.9 kilograms. So, ano yung alternative hypothesis natin? Not equal. Okay, so letter D then. Okay?
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button para updated kayo for more video tutorial. This is your guide in learning your math lesson, your Wow Math channel.